When I started this channel in February of 2021, I had no idea if this was going to work or not. I was about to turn 19 and I knew that I wanted to talk about video games and what I felt was an important topic that I just didn't see being talked about in a supportive way. In the last 1,250 some days, I have learned so much, and I am thankful for everyone's thoughts, suggestions, and support. Now, hopefully, I have talked long enough for YouTube to not yell at me too much, for saying words it deems inappropriate and unacceptable.
Congratulations on 50K.
Yes, it took a while.
I know this was requested by a lot of people, especially on Patreon.
Yeah. So I thought, having like a questionnaire. Yeah, you ask the questions and I answer them.
All right.
I thought that would be fitting for a 50K kind of video.
And I may push back if, there's an issue with the question. So
Yeah.
So the first one is, what kind of adult game flavors do you love?
Ooh. Okay, so that's kind of hard to answer. I don't really talk about my favorite flavors because then it would seem like I'm biased in my reviews, and I don't want that to happen. I want to try to remain as unbiased as I can.
Or at least appear unbiased.
Yeah, at least appear unbiased. But I mean, all flavors are great. You shouldn't feel ashamed of what you like, and I do talk about my favorite games every year as part of the Game of the Year Awards video, and I find that I do skew towards the sci-fi and the fantasy games the most.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get how... I know you worry when you make lists and you make, what's popular. You worry that you don't want it to be overrepresented, and sometimes the data just skews one way or another.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just doing it based on the data, and people don't see it that way. They're just like, oh, why are you choosing this game over this game? And I'm just like, it's just the data.
But I have noticed that if you have a big enough... If you do like a top 10 games, it's going to look very similar. But you tend to, like top 30, top 50. I noticed that you do get a lot of variation when you do expand it to that.
Yeah.
All right. Simple question. Possibly often answered already. What is your favorite game and favorite adult game? And how often do you play? Do you play adult games on a regular basis?
There's that word again, favorite. I can't, confining a singular game out of all the ones that I've played, it's just not possible for me, so I can't really do favorites.
This is gonna end up being a neurodivergent Q&A. I can tell already. We're just gonna roll into it.
It's hard for me for the game of the end of the year game awards. It's hard for me to choose the favorite game. Like I find myself racking around in my brain, like choosing out of all of the ones that I played over the year. I have to choose just one, and it's hard. I don't even know why I put that on there. But for games, not adult games, just games, I really like Persona 4. I really like Red Dead Redemption 2, the cowboy game. That's a really good one. Really any Mario and Luigi game.
That is a lie. I purchased
No.
Golf.
I'm gonna explain this. Mario and Luigi as together.
Golfing.
Yeah, but that's all of them.
But
you
that's like Mario
mainly
Kart.
That's true, but that's like more of a Mario Party. Like it's all the characters in the game.
How is that different than golfing together?
It is okay. That's not different. But the games that I'm trying to talk about, are just Mario and Luigi. Kind of like Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story.
So then you don't like Super Mario 2 because it has Peach and Toad playable.
Yeah, but it's also older, and I don't. I can't do it. Like I've tried. I played it. Where was it? It was on the Wii. I tried playing it on the Wii.
Oh, yeah.
And it was hard, and I was like, it just wasn't fun for me.
I remember when I got you the remaster for...
Castlevania?
No,
was
not
that
Castlevania.
One?
It was for Super Mario Sunshine, because you'd always wanted to play it.
Oh!
And then it came out on the it came out on the Switch, and you were just like...
Yeah, part
this
of that
is terrible.
3-game one. It had Super Mario Galaxy,
Which
Super
you loved.
Mario. Oh yeah, I love that game. Well, I loved Super Mario Galaxy 2, and so I was like, oh well, of course I'm probably gonna like Super Mario Galaxy.
And Mario 64, which you had already played on the DS.
Yeah, and it was easier to play on the DS.
Well,
I
because
tried
it used the original. It changed the
controls.
Yeah.
And so it was really difficult to play that game.
But you did not like Sunshine at all.
I
was so
tried.
disappointed.
I
was
tried.
so disappointed.
Maybe I should try again because we still
I
have
don't
it.
know. You talked so much shit too. It was horrible.
I'm sorry. But
Anyways, Mario and Luigi games with a big asterisk.
yeah. And basically any open world game I'm probably going to like. So for the adult games, is going to be hard because I don't want to say.
You don't want to talk about flavors.
I don't want to talk about flavors, so I'm just going to choose games
that you already talked about that you liked.
based
It's such a lame non-answer.
purely on their gameplay, graphics, and story. So Eternum is definitely on there.
And
it was just a really good story.
Your favorite game once it finishes.
Once it finishes,
whatever year that is.
Probably it was like the story was just so interesting. I really liked it. From a graphic standpoint, I think Memoirs of a Battle Brothel was a really good game.
Because you like the pixel games.
Yeah, it reminded me of the older Final Fantasy games, and maybe a little bit of Octopath Traveler. So that's probably why I liked it a lot.
And the last part was, how often do you play?
So how often do I play adult games? I would say most days. My work schedule is a bit all over the place, so I can't really give you an exact answer. But it's whether I'm playing new adult games or going back and jogging my memory of older adult games. But I would say most days.
Okay.
But I mean, saying that I play adult games most days is kind of... I see it as a job.
Yeah.
So they're just
maybe
games to
looking
me.
For leisure purposes, and I think it's much more frequently. But I've noticed that you play just video games in general less since this has become kind of a job for you, even mainstream games.
Yeah, I find myself having a harder time trying to find like AAA or AA games that I can just enjoy comfortably and like just play it, which is really sad. But
that says more about the industry than it is you.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Which questions nobody asked you until now, but you wish somebody did? Would you be interested to be part of a panel at a Comic-Con about video games, censorship, etc.? I would be glad to attend something like that.
Ooh.
I think the person's saying that they want to see you. I know like Iron Mouse and Connor did a thing at Anime Expo.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
With the Hello Kitty character.
Yeah, what's it called? Cinnamon Roll?
Yeah, and
yeah.
And to be fair, one of your siblings is a huge Hello Kitty fan, and you have like zero chill for Hello Kitty.
It's not that I have zero chill. It's just
okay. Tell me what you said about the Hello Kitty plane in Singapore.
Oh, that it was stupid.
You have zero chill for Hello Kitty.
Well, okay. To be fair, if I saw a plane that had, I don't know, what's a young
if it had
kid show?
Mario on it.
Oh, yeah, if it had Mario on it.
If it had a
God.
Pokemon character or a Mario character, you'd be like, I gotta go check this thing out.
Yeah.
The Hello Kitty one, you were like, oh, hell no. That's okay. I had to take a picture and send it.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the question.
Yeah, back to the question. So what questions am I still waiting to hear that I haven't heard yet? I mean, wouldn't telling you ruin the point?
Oh, so we're gonna go with sarcastic answers.
I mean, asking questions, isn't it the point to like kind of catch them off guard? Or
this sounds like some nonsense dating strategy stuff right there. I was testing him. Yeah, I had to find out if he was gonna ask the right question or not. Okay, all right. Let's see where we are. How about live events?
So as for live events, I mean, I still have a long way to go in my growth as a creator. But speaking at conventions and maybe academic conferences is definitely something that I would love to be able to do in the future. The biggest reason I started this podcast was to improve my speaking live. And so, I have issues with anxiety, and I don't have a lot of the learned and innate skills that many of these successful YouTubers and streamers possess. So Yeah, I mean, give me 6 months to research a topic and write a script, and I'll do fine. But I mean, ask me what my favorite game is live, and I'll likely fall apart on the spot. So in real
No
time,
pressure, Annie.
yeah, everyone would clip it. Just me being like,
Weeping. What
yeah,
was
just
that?
me crying.
Didn't your first stream, you weren't even streaming live. You recorded it and then posted it later, and you were so freaking out by it. You forgot how to use the right mouse button or something. It was
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
oh,
it was really
so,
embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at the keyboard and all those numbers and letters
there's,
jumbled together, and I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I was having a psychotic break.
Yeah, I really
It was a horror game though, so maybe that's expected.
Maybe.
But
yeah,
it
maybe
hadn't gotten
maybe a
anything
horror.
scary yet.
Yeah, maybe a horror game was not the best choice
To begin with?
To begin with.
Oh, seriously. Congrats on 50K. Question. If it hadn't been answered yet, what made you interested in these games? What's the history of these games? My media teacher a few years ago back gave us a task to sell a spicy video game from back in the 80s for the lonely men on long business trips, sorry, which made me kind of interested, but not enough to actually research the topic.
He's probably just like, oh, that's cool.
I do think that there are a lot of questions like this, so I'm going to try to group them together for you.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So
I mean, so I talk about this in my History of the Trainer series videos. And, humans have been creating sexual imagery since before they were even human. How this manifests is really dependent on culture and technology. But we are definitely moving towards a unique place in history where, for the first time ever, every human may have the opportunity to explore sex and sexuality in a safe and healthy way.
And I got a couple together I'm just going to group for you. So, two clumps of questions.
2 clumps.
So, what was the adult game you played that made you realize how much was going on in this space? Or the one that made you decide to start SBG? And the second one is, heya, I'm a new subscriber and wanted to ask how these games became an interest to you and how you found the courage to make a whole channel for it.
Oh, okay. So
and you've talked about this before.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. So it started with Cyberpunk 2077 and how it was first being received as being the quote-unquote most sex-filled game ever. And which, I thought was strange because if you think about all the other games that have come out, Cyberpunk was not the first game to have sex in it. You think of The Witcher, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, all had as much sex or more than Cyberpunk. And it didn't make sense to me why all of these journalists were saying what they were saying. Were they ignorant? Did they not know of The Witcher, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age? Were they lying? And this kind of thinking kind of led me down the rabbit hole about adult games. So I quickly realized that this space was very shamey, and no one was really talking about it in a positive light. There were people on YouTube who were talking about these games, but they either talked about it in a way that implied we were degenerates for liking them, or they talked about the game in an inauthentic way that implied that they knew nothing about adult content, like all of those video game journalists talking about Cyberpunk. So I thought making a channel talking about the safe and healthy way to explore sex and sexuality on YouTube would be a good thing to try. Just to try it out. It is tough. Currently, YouTube suppresses and demonetizes about, 95% of my videos. And I understand that Alphabet is supposed to be this amazing and tolerant company to work for, but it is very clear that from a monetization perspective, YouTube hates furries, femboys, futanari, feet, and just about any other flavor that you can think of. And that includes suppressing anything LGBTQIA. I mean, to be fair, they don't like most heteronormative stuff as well. But I think this is why channels like SBG are so important. If we want to see a world that is more accepting of a healthy and safe exploration of sex and sexuality, we are going to have to work together to help make that world. And that's why your continued support is so important. Not just my Patreon. I mean, that really helps, but because it's like basically my channel's income. But the most important thing right now is that the YouTube channel is continuing to grow. And the more people that I can reach, the more people will be able to have conversations about what is and what is not acceptable. I will never pretend to have all of the answers, but I know that we will only figure out an answer if we actually talk about the issue. And right now, as a planet, we do not talk about the potential impact and benefits of adult content. Hell, in most places, it's illegal to talk about that stuff. So yeah.
Well, that was very in-depth.
Yeah, that was like a big monologue.
But I know you're really passionate about this, and you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't passionate about this, because I know you've talked to other creators in the same space as you, and they do not seem to have the same issues with monetization and suppression as you do.
No.
But I also know that a lot of those creators cover a much narrower focus of flavors. You like in your last what was it, your July?
Oh, the Steam July?
Yeah, you had 11 games, and like you had one homosexual game, you had 3 NTR games,
yeah, 3
you
NTR.
had a couple furry games, you had heterosexual harem games. You really try to show everything, and YouTube really doesn't like any of this expression.
They really don't.
And it's not just, what surprised me the most is how they crack down on so much of the straight stuff as well. It's not just that they're going after trans people or gay people. Or
they're just going after
else.
Everybody.
There is a very narrow, and
that's true.
I've seen some creators that seem to be able to thread that needle, but it more than like 2 or 3 favors, and it's just like no.
Yeah. The line for it is so thin and exact, and so it's hard to stay on that line.
All right. What can we do as a community to help you, or as individuals? I think that what you're doing is really important for gamers. The shame in this industry is too much present. I guess they mean present too much. And this also has an impact for dealing with sex shaming. Oh my God, I can't
Sex shaming.
Sex shaming too. Wow, that was hard. Hoping that you can continue what you're doing. I see it as a lot of work and dedication.
Hey, I mean, I'm having trouble to speak as well, so.
Yeah, but I get to make fun of you about that. It's less fun when I do it as well.
Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you so much. And secondly, I mean, I don't talk about likes and subs and the bell in my videos, but of course that helps. I mean, if anyone works for YouTube, can tell me exactly what part of my videos that you guys find objectionable, that would be nice. I'd love to know that, so I can at least, consider what I should fix. Joining my Patreon as a free member will also help. There is some content that is still paywalled, like the travel and the food and the cat stuff, as well as the monthly patron videos. But you will still get notified about every video that I make in a much more reliable way than YouTube currently does.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll see people comment like, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen one of your videos recommended in 6 months." And it's
and I have that problem with myself with like normal creators and or the creators that I follow, and I'll see a video that they had created maybe like a week ago, and I was like, oh, why wasn't I informed about that? And I feel so bad. But what I would love most to see is that we all become more comfortable about talking about these games with other people. I know we are probably a long way from that, but I mean, wouldn't it be amazing to just talk about stuff that we like and not be seen as a monster or a deviant? I think that would be nice. And just easier on the mind.
Be treated like a human? Nah. What kind of madness is this? And the thing that I think is most interesting for me is I didn't realize how much shaming there was with the heteronormative content. I didn't realize how much shaming there was.
Well, you wouldn't think there would be.
Well, it's because I didn't know the space, I didn't know the scene, and it's like, I really think, and it's not who's getting it worse than somebody else. I think this could benefit everyone, because I think everybody out there likes something that they feel ashamed of, and it's unfortunate that and they may have good reasons why they think they feel ashamed of it, but I think it's unfortunate that we've all grown up and moved through our lives and been placed in a situation where we're just embarrassed about aspects of our personality that we just can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, what do the guys complain about on the dating site? The girls won't date anybody under 6 foot. There's not much a guy can do about that.
Yeah.
But what kind of a complex
They
is
could
that?
put those things in their
Shut
shoes.
up.
Like, what do they call it? Like heels? No. But like the things that you can put in your tennis shoes.
I have no idea what you're
They're
talking
like
about.
they're for they're for men who want the height. I don't know what they're called.
have
Like
no idea
heel
what you're talking
implants.
about.
I don't know
I
what they're
don't-
called.
Anyways, but that that kind of environment is going to give anybody a complex, and that's not healthy.
No.
If you can't control it, that's a problem, and if you're being judged for it, and it's just unfortunate. All right. Oh, it's a long. Oh, I've got another two combined together.
Oh,
My
fun.
question is, what got you into hentai and adult games? So you've kind of already answered that.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly happy to see more women expressing their love for stuff that has the stigma of it being men only. My wife is very much like this too, and we both share a passion for human sexuality. The psychology is fascinating, but still so relatively new due to the terrible practice of closeting something we all do for centuries. I really respect your channel name of Sex Positive Gaming as well. Again, congrats on the subs and glad to be a part of that. And the second
Woo.
question, which I kind of grouped with,
Oh, okay.
I just stumbled over your channel and was blown away by the idea that a sex positive gaming review channel exists. Sex positivity is my community and identity. That got me curious what your understanding of sex positivity is and how critical the reviews are.
Ooh. Okay. So one of the unintended consequences of having sex positive in my brand, aside from being on so many watch lists, is that aside from that,
She's not joking.
I'm really not, is that I didn't realize that some people use the phrase quote unquote sex positive as a way to gatekeep what they see as acceptable sexuality and sometimes even shame other people for the flavors that they like. Every one of us likes something different. We can't really control what we like, and I think marginalizing a person for their desires is part of the problem. We can, however, control, like what you said, we control how we behave in reality. And that is why allowing people a safe and healthy way to explore their sex and sexuality is so important. It improves real life. So when a person comes to me and says, what X game or X flavor isn't very sex positive, my first response is that, what does sex positive mean to you?
It's like some Socratic response.
I know. Just turn it on them.
You're like some judo move.
Yeah. Be like, well, what do you think about this?
Because I have seen that, especially with let's say the heterosexual harem games, I have seen a lot of people come at you and say, why are you covering this? This isn't sex positive. And
Yeah.
and you're like, no, it's fiction. If somebody's doing this and they have a safe and healthy outlet, they're much less likely to do things in real life. That is sex positive.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people who think sex positive is you have to fit in this box, which...
And it's the box that they create.
I know, but it's
like when
it's
companies...
hilarious.
No, it's like when companies be like, oh, like the Patreon rules and how they're changing. It's just like, oh, well, what counts as like...
Acceptable.
What counts as acceptable. Or like when a company says like, oh, this picture is sexual. And it's just like, well, that's what you think. But what about other people? And it's just like a picture of like, I don't know, a sock.
Ooh, sock. A cat named Socks.
Cat named Socks. And it's just like, what do you think about this cat named Socks?
So it's a Rorschach test. Oh, man. How do you come across games? Scrolling on DL site and Steam and following devs you already know of? Or do you have a process of staying up to date? Congrats on the success. Hope you continue to get all that you definitely deserve. I recently found your content and really enjoy the positive, dedicated, and professional effort and energy you put into your videos. Okay, time out. I need to say something. So I'm trying to read these as they're written, but your audience is all over the place. And while most of your audience is English speaking, I really think that only about 50 or 60% of your audience is a native English speaker. So you've got a huge portion of your audience that doesn't speak English at all or doesn't speak English as their first language. So some of these probably went through some filters and everything else, and I don't want us to. The message that they're saying is more important than the substance message.
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to put these up in the video.
Yeah,
and shows,
I was thinking about that.
Let's not make fun of anybody for trying, because
No, and I'll put it the way that we are reading it.
So you won't have their name or anything.
Yeah, and I'll just have what they said plain out, and I wouldn't have changed the grammar or anything, because I know what they're trying to say, so it's like you'll know what they're trying to say, and plus, I don't know.
Or at least what we think they're trying to say.
Yeah. So for the question, I use a lot of tools and sites to collect data and build my lists. So DLSite and Itch are not very good for research purposes.
Poor deals.
I know.
They're trying.
It's just their search functions are kind of terrible, and I get the impression that they don't always want me to find certain games. It's just hard to search for games on those two. But Steam is probably the most common site I use for coming across games. For more basic information, I use Steam 250 and then Steam DB to help you find some of what is popular. I also use Graphtreon for finding developers on Patreon and keeping up to date with the top adult game developer rankings and all that. And following the developers on their Discord and Twitter always helps. Twitter, kind of, it's much less useful now because it's just much less useful
than it was a couple years ago. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's just much,
Because you actually got accused of being political for saying Twitter isn't as good now as it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And you were just trying to make a statement of fact, not a political position.
Yeah. But their Discord is good.
Yeah, for the developers.
Yeah.
All right. My cue is, do you think AI will lead to an AI question. Okay. My question is, do you think AI will lead to an explosion of adult-themed games, or do you think AI companies will continue to inflict their morality on the rest of us? Now, this seems
their morality.
This seems a really...
I feel like I know the answer
where
that they
coming
want.
from. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
You have tried so hard to not talk about AI.
Yeah.
You have bent over backwards to just not have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I know, but I think we're already seeing a push for more AI-generated games in this space. My upcoming podcast about the top new Patreons of 2024 has actually a lot of games that do have AI art.
Yeah, you showed me that list, and I think it was more than half the games.
Yeah, so it's getting to be a topic that I can't avoid talking about anymore. And I'm having a rough time trying to find a way to talk about it because it's such a contentious topic.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll do a good enough job addressing this later this month. It was supposed to come out last month, but then my lame co-host got pneumonia.
I am so sorry.
It's fine.
I am so sorry.
I'm just glad you didn't die because people die from this.
Yeah, I know. And we got me on the Z-Pack so we could still get the trip done. And
I know.
I just stayed in the hotels.
Yeah, he got sick, and then we went to Greece because we were like, oh, well, maybe we won't go to Greece, but we had to go to Greece.
Because you've got a video coming up about one of the things we went to, so I don't want to talk about that, and that's why I had to go.
Yeah.
But we had to get me on the Z-Pack so I wouldn't be contagious, because people who travel contagious, that's not cool.
No. We saw what that happened, that happened.
Let's just say it's not cool. But yeah, it was. So you didn't have podcasts for a month, and that's entirely my fault. I do think it's interesting how you completely punted on that answer, though.
Whoa.
So I guess your answer is I'm going to talk about this in a couple podcasts.
Yeah, okay. I will talk about it just, later this month.
Just calling you out because that was totally a non-answer.
Oh, yeah, I know.
All right. Congrats on 50K. Question for the Q&A. What franchise media would you most like to see become the subject of an adult game parody? Ooh. And then another question. from another person, if you could make an adult game with a finger snap, what would it be about?
Finger snap.
So you're Thanos.
Yeah, I know. But that doesn't make sense then.
Dude,
then
he could have done anything with that if he wanted. The whole point is you could have shaped reality how you wanted.
So he wanted to destroy
because
it?
Thanos was like a lame, stupid, two-dimensional villain. They're like, oh yeah, as opposed to being smart or useful or anything else, I'm just gonna be stupid. Now all the Thanos haters are gonna come after me.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I wasn't the one who said anything about Batman.
I stand by my Batman stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like him.
Dude, you got the Batman people they're terrifying.
Okay, so for an adult game parody, I've actually recently thought about this, that the Fifth Element would make a good adult game. You know, it has the sex theme.
Basically is.
It has all of the sex. It has the alien love interest. I guess you can call her alien.
But
yeah.
no, you have other aliens in it too as well. So you can easily
because you also have that
it.
opera woman.
Yeah.
And then and it has a really cool story.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is really cool.
Yeah.
So I think the Fifth
You even
Element
like Ruby Rod.
I know. Yeah, he would be like a side character.
Dude, he could be the main character.
He could be the main character.
It's just Ruby Rod through the universe.
With his rod.
Well, because he's having sex with everybody, and that's what the main character in these games do.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
Ruby
I think
Rod's
he could do a lot of
wild
things.
Ride. Corbin, my man.
Corbin, my man. Oh man, now I want to rewatch it.
That's what happened. You talked about Flash Gordon the other day. You're like, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
And oh man,
I forgot how fucking stupid it is.
You love that movie. You
I
were
love
so
it.
delighted by it.
It's
We
so
got your
stupid.
mom to watch it for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Flash Gordon.
And she was like, there isn't enough alcohol.
I know.
All
I
right.
love campy 80s
You
movies.
really do. Oh, what have you started calling them? Late 20th century?
No. Late 1900s.
Oh, that late 1900s. You're just like trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Oh, the first time you said that to your mom, it was.
Oh no,
it was like a knife blow. She's like, oh.
She crawled on the ground. She's like, no.
All right. You're truly great for responding earnestly to almost every comment on your videos. I think you try to respond, at least to the first comment.
Yeah.
And some of them, it's weird. I've noticed that some comments seem to get suppressed, so they're not deleted. Like, I'll be able to see them, but you won't be able to see them. And that's just, it's kind of, I really wonder what YouTube is doing as part of that. So.
Well, we already know that they're out to get me, so who knows?
You're truly great for responding earnestly to almost every comment on your videos. Kudos.
Kudos.
P.S. I think this is the question. Do you get haters? How do you deal with them?
I mean, I think every creator gets people who would disagree with them. But, I mean, calling them haters seems a little judgmental. I mean, I think we all have the tendency these days to marginalize people who think differently than us by calling them haters. But
So you're saying you're not going to go the Taylor Swift path?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's going to be hard, but I'm not. But I usually try to be as nice and accepting as I can. It really depends on if they want to have a constructive conversation or they're just looking for a fight. And I mean, there's also an ideological aspect as well. If the core disagreement is because of differing ideology, then you're basically shouting at the tide.
Which is totally effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Nero, like, let's invade the ocean.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd rather focus on things where there is room for growth and change. This channel is about the safe and healthy exploration of sex and sexuality in video games. And I mean, that's a hard enough quest to take on without adding other contentious topics, no matter how valid those other topics may be. I mean, it would be ridiculous to ask a company focused on cancer research, for example, to also focus on helping starving children. Both are important tasks. Is what I'm doing as important as that? Of course not, but people having a safe and healthy way to explore sex and sexuality has been shown to improve mental health and lower crime. And that is important. Not as important as helping starving children, but it is still important, and SPG is the way I have chosen to champion this cause.
You know, people are going to take this out of context now, and they're going to say, she compared herself to cancer research. where I think you specifically didn't.
No, I did not. It was just an example.
I get the point. I don't know if I would have used extreme, but I guess we go to extremes in order to make points. So
Yeah.
And I think one of the difficulties is because all humans consume sexuality in some way or another, you get a wide political spectrum of people watching your show and agreeing with you at least partially. And I've especially seen in the comments where they won't agree with each other at all. And they get into those kind of identity politics kind of arguments that you try to avoid. I mean, sexuality in gaming and everything, that is definitely kind of falls into some political thing. But I think if everybody is consuming adult content, like everybody is consuming adult content, then getting everybody on the same page and talking about it and getting us to have an open conversation, that makes a lot of sense. And if we can do that, maybe we can start having conversations about other things way down the road.
Way down the road, yeah.
Because I think that's, no shaming, just gaming, which your mom came up with.
Yeah, I should give her credit for that.
Don't you have for you, Reese?
Yeah.
I always saw that as you're kind of teaching empathy. You're not teaching endorsing a thing. You're not teaching this one thing is better than another. You're just teaching empathy. And I think we're missing empathy currently online. So
in this space.
I give you props for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. Keep it up. Here, I sent you a couple questions to collaborate.
Love your collaboration.
I think I know what they mean.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Why Greece? And it was not another your choice. So, I mean, why'd you pick Greece?
Yeah.
And is it true they still worship goddesses there? And how did they treat you? Keep enjoying.
So, I have loved Greek mythology since I first read the first Percy Jackson book when I was 6. So, that's why Greece.
There were other reasons too. That was
there
the
are other
reason she
reasons.
was most excited.
I really wanted to go see the Acropolis and all of the museums with the architecture and the history, and I just wanted to be surrounded by it all. And I loved Greece. The weather was fantastic, first of all. The food was really good. I ate a ton of Greek salad. I think every time I went to a restaurant or some place that had Greek salad, I had Greek salad. As for the religion, I would say that it's still, religion is still held in high regard in Greece. There were a ton of churches just spread about. I remember walking down a street and there were literally 2 a block away from each other. So I think it is still held in high regard. And we were actually able to experience a Greek Orthodox service on Pentecost, which was
on the island we were on.
Yeah, which was incredible. I probably had never, going to Greece, I had never thought that I would experience that. And that was really fun.
The thing that I thought was interesting was all of the Holy Roman Empire stuff that they had as part of and I just didn't realize that was still a thing. You know? And it's what is this Habsburg stuff here? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and the church that we went to was it was so gorgeous inside, and I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think you filmed any of that though. So.
I filmed a little bit of it,
cool. So
hopefully I can show it. But for the god and goddesses worship thing, I still think I'm not sure if it's still a thing.
No, I don't think it was.
It feels more like Japan, where people have a deep cultural appreciation of their unique history.
I'd say that's fair.
So yeah, Greek Orthodox. I think that's the.
Yeah, I think that's the answer they were looking. The short answer.
Yeah.
But, love you and your work. Have fun. How is it like in Greece? Did you meet some monster girls?
Oh, God.
Lots of Greece legends about them, like Medusa or Arachna. How is the food? I heard the ambience is magical. Must be awesome. Stay positive. Whatever. Not sure if this counts as a question. LOL. Dude,
Whatever.
This sounds like you talking.
I know.
Because it's like you start strong and you're confident, and then you just...
I just trail off.
Yeah, you trail off.
Stay positive.
So,
whatever.
No, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, okay? Let's not...
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like it. Stay positive.
I really wonder if you have if you've just got 50,000 subscribers that are just like you and just like, and you found similar people and they're just bringing you all together,
that would make me feel so much better about myself.
Yeah.
Honestly. But yeah, Greece was amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to go there again. Go to some of the different islands. Go to even more museums.
You went to so many museums.
I did.
You went to so many museums.
But I mean, I love museums. So.
And you love the empty museums the most.
Well, yeah, because one, it was easier to film, and then two, I was alone. But to see a bunch of Medusa gifts in a gift shop count as
Monster Girls.
As Monster Girls?
Yeah, the art really didn't seem to have. It was like gods and goddesses. It wasn't really the monsters.
Yeah. I did see a siren in one of the museums, like the ones from the Odyssey. Mm-hmm. And that's a monster. I don't know if it was a monster girl. No, sirens are monster girls.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
especially the more modern interpretation of sirens. They've definitely moved into the monster girl.
Yeah, the one that I saw was basically like
the very bird-like.
The bird bottom and then like a human head.
Did you get footage of that?
I think so, yes. Cool. But let's see. The food was really good. I pretty much liked anything that I ate. The souvlaki, the gelato, the lamb was really good. They had these spinach pies called spanakopita. Those were really good. And then I also found out that I like tzatziki sauce.
Yeah, because you usually don't like.
I don't usually like sauces.
Yeah.
The only sauce I know is like ketchup. I don't like mustard or mayonnaise.
Yeah, I know.
Those are gross. But I actually like tzatziki sauce. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try a lot more Greek dishes the next time I go.
All right. So, are you studying the statues in Greece?
Oh gosh.
Are they unrealistic proportion? I've been listening to your Shame-Free podcast.
I see that. So the statues in Greece, I was really excited to see them. I've always had an interest in Greek mythology and architecture, and to actually be in the presence of these statues was actually insane. I think most notably was this museum that I went to where there is this huge statue of Athena. And you could really see up close to her, and it was a museum where you could get really close to things, which was really weird for me, honestly, because like you could actually like go up and touch her. I didn't, but
I didn't say you did.
I know, but I'm just saying that for the audience. I didn't, but it was there. The option was there, but you could go up and see all her little details in her dress and the shield that she was wearing, and it was just really amazing. In terms of proportions, they didn't really seem unrealistic, just more idealized. Some of them, like the Athena one, she was like larger than life. She was ginormous. And you had statues where the men have like these toned, muscular bodies, while women had the more flowy and intimate look to them. Well, some women like Athena, she was very grand and controlling looking.
Yeah, because war is part of her proxy too. So.
Yeah, so that made sense. But yeah, I don't think they were unrealistic. They were just more idealized. I talk more about fantastical body shapes and their history in a podcast that I've done, which is probably where this question came from. And I think it was my second one that I put on YouTube. And I go into a bunch of different games that have idealized bodies, like in Treasure of Nadia and its hourglass figure, and then a game called Apocalypse, and how they have the bimbo figure and the I don't know, I guess bodybuilder figure for the main character.
I think one of the problems was it was the title you picked for that podcast, because there was a lot of discussion going on about this. I think there was a what do you call it? The motion capture actress, and a character was modeled after her, and people were saying this character is unrealistic, and then they went and said, no, this is the actual character. Here's what we modeled her after. And there was this debate about this, and I think you got caught up in that when what you were trying to say is This is all fiction. This is fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Explore
yeah.
what you want to explore. You can make it idealized. You can make it not idealized.
Yeah.
You can give them wings. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's what you want.
And you could really tell who just responded to like the title of the video and
Yeah, you
who
get that a
actually
lot.
like watched the video at all.
Yeah, you get that a lot with my more controversial videos. They look at the title and they're just like, oh, and they don't even watch the video.
and you've gotten better at it.
I have.
Finding. But then the problem is if you make a person go, more people are likely to click on it too.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that, but you also want people to watch. So
know.
it's an imperfect system.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to be making Mr. Beast thumbnails for all your videos.
Oh my god. I find them so cringy. I don't know.
They work.
They work, but they work for 7-year-olds. My audience is not that.
I hope your audience is not that. Oh God. Otherwise, we are on a whole other watch list. You know what? Then you can bring Dr. Disrespect onto the podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, too soon?
Yeah, too soon.
Okay,
No,
my
never. I'm never going to do that.
God.
He's not going to come on here and disrespect my channel.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. Next question.
Next
I'm
question.
like dying over here. I've got 2 questions. I'm going to combine again here.
Okay.
Congrats on 50K. That's a huge achievement. Thank you for covering this gaming genre. I found it really hard to find good info about these games, even from user game reviews on Steam. But you provided great insights on each game and helped me to find perfect ones to play. Now for a tough one. If you could play only one game for the rest of your life, which would it be and why?
One game? I just have to choose one game?
Dude.
Out of all the ones that I played?
This is an impossible task.
It really is. Because there are so many that I played. So, I mean, there's Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a good one. It's a classic one, I guess. Skyrim. That's a classic one, actually. Final Fantasy 14. Those 3 worlds would actually be pretty good. Like, I think I would find... It would have to be a game where it was really long, and then it would have to have multiple endings, so you have that replayability. And then, you play it over and over again, and you get different outcomes every time. And I think, with that in mind, I think I would have to go with Final Fantasy 14, because it's just such a big game, and then you can just restart and have like a whole different kind of experience.
And I know you like the game because you can play it as a multiplayer experience or just a single player experience.
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't have to.
Well, that's how I played when I played. I know it's a multiplayer game, but I literally just never talked to anybody. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe, Baldur's Gate 3 is also a good one. Because then...
But you'd eventually get through everything.
Yeah, because yeah. So, Final Fantasy 14, I guess, is the one that I would have to choose. Mm-hmm. Maybe Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a really good one.
That's really short, comparatively.
I know.
It's like that question, if you're stuck on a deserted island, what one book would you want?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Is it the book with, like, the survival gear inside of it?
Yeah. Or, like, what item? And you're just like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess water or something. Oh, geez. I don't know. I guess, yeah. Final Fantasy 14. Mm-hmm. Possibly Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's just like, I don't want to give an answer.
It sounds really tragic to just play one game for the rest of my life.
All right. Who is your favorite character from all the games you've played? If you wish, break it into categories: protagonists, sidekicks, baddies, etc. Another is, of all the games you've played, which world would you want to inhabit?
Which world would I want to inhabit?
Yeah, like some kind of isekai thing or something. I don't know.
Okay, I'll get that. Oof. That's a hard one.
All right, let's do with your favorite characters.
Yeah, I'll do the protagonist one. Okay. So for protagonist, I think it would have to be Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. I liked his character so much.
All right, okay.
It was so good.
Okay.
For a sidekick, this one's weird because like my first thought was Luigi, because a sidekick has to be somebody...
Luigi is his own protagonist.
Well, he was such a good sidekick that he got his own games. Same with Yoshi. But
I think with Nintendo, if you hang around long enough, you get your own game.
Yeah. okay, that's fair. But also the cat Morgana from Persona 5.
Okay.
I think she was a good sidekick. Oh, he?
Morgana's yeah.
Oh gosh.
I know. It's okay. Morgana was often misgendered.
Poor Morgana. Yeah, but the cat from Persona 5. I think he was a good
And for
sidekick.
your baddie?
For baddie, I think it would be Bayonetta from Bayonetta.
Wait.
The game Bayonetta.
Isn't a baddie a bad guy?
But I thought a baddie was a girl who's confident and sexy.
All right, let me look this up.
Where? Oh, are you going to get your answer from Urban Dictionary?
I'm going to get my answer from Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Here we go. A baddie is a bad girl who is always on fleek, slaying the game.
Slaying the game.
Slaying the game.
She does slay the game. Bayonetta.
I feel so old right now.
I know.
All right, okay. Just in case, do you have a favorite villain, regardless of their fleekness?
Oh, man.
Is it fleekness?
Fleekness. Yeah,
Okay,
I
sure.
think that's a word.
Okay.
We're also saying fleek and slay, and I don't even know if there's like...
Well, bad guys do slay,
Yeah, they do slay.
and I don't know what fleek means.
I think that just means like perfect, being perfect. Like eyebrows on fleek.
So is it a fashion thing?
It can be. I don't think it matters.
All right, so regardless of their fleekness, do you have a villain?
Villain. Probably Kefka's really bad.
Final Fantasy VI?
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI.
He does slay.
He does
and
slay.
He does have impeccable faction. If you look at the art stuff and everything,
Oh yeah,
he is
his
definitely...
costumes are so good.
Yeah, okay, so that
Especially
is...
at the ending.
So, all right, you went extra and went for the super fleek.
Yeah. And he was like, he is the villain.
Now, where are you going to live?
That's really hard. Okay, so you were talking about isekai. So would it be like I was going to be isekai?
Oh my god, are you looking for rules for this?
Yes, I am. And just let me ramble. Okay. So, first off, will I be isekai? Will I just be like right now in this chair, will I be transported with literally just the clothes on my back and like that is it? So, because that's gonna take into
I
consideration.
thought you were supposed to be hit by Truck Coon in order to get
Yeah, am I gonna be hit by a truck at some point? Or do I get if the game has character customization, will I get options for those?
So you're looking for the lit RPG experience.
yeah. Will I get stats? Like, will I get if the game has
or
magic?
do I just have my extant bad body?
Yeah. Will I be like an NPC, just stuck here, or will I be able to like level up and like fight things and do all these things and increase my strength and my stamina or whatnot? And then what about dying? You know, will I have multiple lives or will I only die once? Because that's going to take into consideration all of the horror games. I mean, I wasn't going to do the horror games anyways, because who would want to live in that? Like Silent Hill, who would want to live that? I was going to say maybe Red Dead Redemption 2 again, but then what about diseases and cleanliness and smells? I mean, diseases comes into play in Red Dead, like... It's a pretty important part of Red Dead Redemption 2, diseases.
Yeah, and I guess your old West frontier would smell pretty terrible.
Yeah, like what about showers? I'm pretty sure I only bathed Arthur once.
Then no medieval fantasy game would work. So
Skyrim's out.
Because they look dirty to begin with.
I know.
Those Nords.
Yeah, this is like a slur.
It is a slur. Didn't you play the game? It's full of racial tension.
That's very true. And yeah, cleanliness. Like, what am I going to do with the bathroom? Like, I don't think I know any game that you go to the bathroom other than maybe like, I don't know, like The Sims or something. Or like taking a shower. Like, will I have to, how will that work? So if all of those are out, I mean, I'm thinking of like peaceful games now, maybe like Stardew Valley. But then I don't want to be working on a farm for the entire time. Because, like, that just sounds tiring. And then what about multiplayer games? Like Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft?
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, so you don't have an answer for
I don't
this
have an
one.
answer to
I'm
this.
just,
Yeah,
I
this is
knew
the-
that as soon as I saw you go down this rabbit hole, I was like, oh God, I know where this is going to end up. Okay, sorry, she doesn't have an answer for this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It is too difficult a question.
It is. I can't think of one that I would have a fun enough time in because there's just so many questions.
Think about all the cons.
I'm thinking about all the cons. What about a
right.
shower?
This is why she never leaves the house. All right, I'm going to have to add words in for this one, I think. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So I think this person wants to know where SPG was last year versus like right now, where you're moving into the future. Because he says, like, where is SPG channel last year then versus right now versus where SPG is moving onwards in terms of growth. So I think what he's asking is, where do you see the channel was a year ago? Where do you see the channel is now? And where do you see yourself going?
Okay. Well, so my videos on the channel have been mainly one of three types: lists, individual game reviews, and other. The other videos tend to be the ones where I try to explore a topic or flavor more in depth, like my cyberpunk and existentialism one.
That nobody watched.
Yeah. Yeah.
You spent like 6 months on that video.
Yeah, it's just the
You
other
were like
video.
reading existentialist books.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. But recently I have added the podcast as a way to help grow as a creator. It also helped me to be able to talk more in depth about topics that need more than a few sentences to talk about.
Yes, non-soundbite answers.
Yeah, so I could just like ramble about a flavor or something. And I get that not everyone likes the podcast, but let's be fair, I'm pretty sure that no one likes every video that I'm gonna make, given the huge number of flavors that I try to cover. There are some excellent other channels that are very consistent with what and how they cover our industry, and I will definitely link them in the Patreon page if you would like to explore some of them.
Yeah, I've noticed that there are some up-and-coming channels that have really targeted like one flavor profile or one thing, and they seem to be hitting really well, and they're doing well, and that's good.
They are, yeah. And I'm glad they're doing well. However, as part of my desire to continue to grow as a creator, I'm still going to try new things. As for the podcast, I can already see how much more comfortable I am speaking live. So much so that I'm even considering streaming again.
You're going to still make list videos and stuff, though.
Yeah, I'll still make the list videos. I'll still make the individual game reviews, like the Carnal Instinct one that I just made. But yeah, I mean, I could stream again. I think I am more comfortable than I am a few months ago even. Like when I first started this. If you listen to the first podcast or the first couple, it's like, oh wow. So yeah, please continue to let me know what you think and what you want to see. And I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this community and a part of Sex Positive Gaming's journey. If you enjoyed this episode of Shame Free Gaming, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, my Patreon, and my Discord. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time.